All right. Hey guys, this is the first of hopefully many athlete spotlights that we'll be doing for United States Federation of Sled Dog Sports. So my name is Lizzie Hill. I am the Vice President of the USFSS, and I am here joined today by one of our amazing USFSS members and Team USA representatives from the last World Games in 2025, Lori Ann Johnson. Lori, hello.
Hi,
All
thank you for
right.
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. So, for starters, where are you from? What do you do when you're not playing with the dogs?
I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota. I actually live right outside of Minneapolis, which is a beautiful city. And I work as a hairstylist pretty much 5 days a week. And then when I'm not running or training my dogs, I'm eating a lot of food and looking for good restaurants and gaming. I'm a big gamer. A lot
Oh,
of
I
people
actually
don't
didn't
know
know
that.
that
Yeah,
about you. Very cool. Okay, so there is life outside of dog sports, but
a
that's
little
not
bit.
what we're here to talk about today. All right. So you have two dogs that you primarily run with. I know you have more, but I want to hear a little bit more about, I guess, first, Scotty, who's your primary Canicross buddy right now. Tell me a little bit more about his breed, because I think that's very interesting, the breed that you run with and raced with at the World Championship. And then talk a little bit about what makes his personality and his skill sets fit really well into Canicross. Like, why did you think this is the dog I want to run with?
I had another Vizsla. So Scotty's a Vizsla, and he knows I'm talking about him. He's right here, right now. They just know. Um, I had another Vizsla prior to him that I had gotten to run with. I love running, and I'm not a confident runner on my own as far as just being out and about in the early hours of the morning or the late hours of the night because it is a city. So I just wanted to have a companion for when I didn't have other people to run with. And so I've run with years with Sulu, and now I started running with Scotty. And I ran into another guy who happened to be also on Team USA at a dog sport event. I decided to try a Canicross race. It's loosely Canicross. They don't really they time it, but it's not really like awards. So I was thought, oh, this will be fun. And it was hard and fun. And I thought I was gonna fall down every hill. And I remember getting to the finish, talking to the gentleman who is my teammate, Pat Pearson. And how do you not fall down the hills? Because they scared the crap out of me. And he's like, oh, I do. He's like, I just go for it and it just happens. And I just thought, oh my God, no, thank you. But then he's like, no, really, you just kind of got to go for it. And he got me thinking about it. And I thought, I have to do this again and I need to just go for it. And that kind of sparked the interest. And he just started telling me about more races and it piqued my interest. And then Worlds was coming. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I will say falling down a hill, being drugged by your dog just a little bit is kind of a Canicross rite of passage. So Pat was not wrong there. Shout out to Pat for giving you solid Canicross beginner advice. Is be prepared for a couple
Yeah.
sneeze.
So that is really where it all started as far as the competitive side. So I'm fairly new. Last year was my first full dryland competitive season. And this year is definitely going to be full, and we're getting ready for that. Scotty, he's a beast. Uh, he's definitely stubborn, which can be good when it comes to not having to worry about him pooping during a race
Uh-huh.
because he doesn't like to poop ever, which is not great. I've learned a few tricks uh, traveling with other fellow mushers,
Yep.
but he's just driven and he is so narrowly focused that once we go, like all he is just straight on, straightforward. And I think that's why I think that he's so great at this, is because he doesn't get fazed by anything, passing other dogs. And he's just, I'm going to go and I'm going to go till you tell me to stop. And I think even though Vizslas tend to be very stubborn, they're not, I think they're great distance dogs, but when it comes to like a power sport, I don't think a lot of people think of them because they can be really stubborn and hard to train. And he's just a tank, and he digs, and he's just go until you say stop.
Yeah,
And I think that makes him really unique.
that's awesome. Okay, so then you added another running buddy to the pack. What were you looking for when you ended up finding 11?
I didn't know what I was looking for initially. I just started asking questions, and at Worlds, my eyes were opened to all the different breeds that people run with, and I saw the Greysters, and they just looked so graceful. And then the speed of the Eurohounds just intrigued me, and so I just started talking to people and asking questions, and I didn't expect to get a dog right away, but then all of a sudden there was, hey, this person has a litter of puppies. And I was almost going to go in that direction. And then I got a call about 11 saying, hey, are you still looking? I just had this puppy become available. And the next thing I know, she's flying to Minnesota and joining our pack. And I like that she's, half GSP
Mhm.
and the husky type, because they don't break it down really.
Yeah.
But since I've been running with her, and she's just now getting up to a mile because she'll be a year in a couple weeks. Her stride just blows me away. And we haven't even worked on strength training with her yet. It's just getting and building up her mileage. And I definitely can tell that she's the one thing that I think Scotty, even though he's a tank and he'll go until I say stop, he does reach a point where his body's like, I, I need to slow down. And I don't
Mhm.
want him to, where I don't think she will, because I don't think that her brain will let her. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the two of them. My plan is to do her on shorter races this year, just like
Mhm.
there's 2 or 3 that are less than 2 miles, and then Scotty will do the rest.
Awesome. Well, that's a really fun time getting a new dog up to speed. I know that's something that I enjoy when our pack grows, is getting to train and figure out the different ways that you can work with different dogs, because my pack is everyone's a little different. So I
Yes.
think you're going to get to learn totally new things from 11 that Scotty didn't teach you. And then, it's like each new dog teaches us something new and gives us a new opportunity to grow. So I am excited to watch you guys this season.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be fun to see how Scotty also is going to start scootering, maybe a little with me. We're still trying to figure that one out,
Yeah.
because I want Canicross to be my number one, and I want to make sure that I keep my body fresh for that. But
Yeah.
then he's going to scooter with Pat, because he has one of his dogs now only has 3 legs. So it gives him an opportunity to also do what he likes. And then that'll be when I take 11 out, when she gets her mileage up.
Awesome. Well, what I'm hearing is we probably need to get Pat in for an athlete spotlight, because he's already gotten 2 shout outs in the first episode.
Probably.
Yes. So, and we'll probably have to talk to him about the gateway that Canicross is into wheeled sports, because that is kind of the running dry land joke: is you come in, maybe you're a Canicross athlete, but you retire to scooter. I remember being told that very early on, one of my first, Northern Canicross races, is that, yeah, you'll see, you're going to retire into scooter. So
Yeah, I keep getting the nudge from everybody.
I think you're still in your running prime, so I'd say keep with it.
Yeah, I
S
agree.
Yeah, speaking of your running prime, you actually were a athlete in your own right before you got into dog sports. And I think there's kind of 2 categories of us. a Canicrossers is people who were runners first and then got a dog, and people who were dog sport people first and then thought, well, I'll go for a run. I was the latter. I had dogs first, did dog sports, and then thought maybe I should exercise too. But you started already being a competitive runner. What did that look like for you before dog sports?
I started running around the age of 27, actual competitively. I did run a little bit in high school, but I made some poor decisions with, smoking and other partying lifestyle choices that weren't very good for competitive running. So I came back to it later in my late 20s and just to get healthy.
Mhm.
And I ran a 5K and I hated it. It was so hard. It took forever. I thought I was walking the whole time. I'm like, why am I putting this much effort in for something that hurts so bad? But I was driven to make it not suck. So I kept at it and I kept training and I added strength training, and I was kind of doing a couch to 5K thing at the time because I didn't really understand there was coaching opportunities and all of that. And I ran another one a year later and I won it. And I was like, I
Hmm.
like this.
Yeah.
I like this
You good at
feeling.
this. Yeah.
So I just started becoming driven to get faster and do better. And I think I probably ran some of my best running in my mid 30s. After I had had both my kids, I was running, my best mile. I was running around 540, and then I was running sub 19 for 5K. And I just kept like driving to see how fast I could do everything. And
Yeah.
then I started doing marathons. And I will say I'm not a marathoner. If you ever watch me run, I run up on my toes. They like my heels never come down. So that's not good for distance running. But I thought I would try it and I ran a couple and then I just came back to the speed and
Mhm.
it just makes me happy. And I got slower after I got older,
It
which got
happens.
frustrating.
Mhm.
It's like a death when you realize I can't run 6 minute pace anymore for a 5K. It's hard to accept that. So the one thing that coming into dog sports has been great for me is now I'm like, I can run fast again.
Yeah.
I have a help,
Sure.
but it's reinvigorated me and I feel like I can only get faster. And it's kind of cool. But yeah, competitive running has always been a part of my life for over 20 years.
Wow. So dog sports helped to refine some of the love that you had maybe lost for running. But what else was the biggest transition from being a focused human individual to then being part of a team? Was your running form different? Was that a transition from I'm
Yeah,
a human runner to
yes. Um, well, one, obviously, making sure that I don't always run with my dogs is now the challenge because now when I don't run with them, it's ugh, it's a lot of work. I don't have that extra handicap.
Mhm.
And also, I don't have that companionship. So that has been the downside of it, is reminding myself how important it is to have my solo runs.
Yeah.
But as far as starting to run with them, yeah, I mean, obviously the leaning, making sure you're leaning forward, making sure you're trusting your dogs. They're not there, you're a team and we're working together and we're talking constantly, which sometimes I think my neighbors, when I have to run through the neighborhood, must think I'm crazy
Probably.
because I'm like, gee, good girl, good girl. And they like, it's probably really loud because I'm listening to a podcast at the same time. And they're like, what's that crazy lady doing? But it is definitely a lot more communication and more thought. I actually enjoy running without music or pods more than I
Mhm.
used to, where when I would race solo, I needed something to keep me occupied or to keep my brain from wandering, where now I have this team that I have to focus with. And
Mhm.
so I feel more dialed in than I have in a long time, which has been great. But I think, making sure, obviously, I really have to focus on my stride. I really have to focus on leaning forward. Yes, they're the power, but I also have to be able to day with them. So my training has completely shifted too, which has been great.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about your training shifting because I have to admit that I did do a little bit of homework and look at your race results over the past couple of years, and you are getting significantly faster year over year. What are you doing differently?
Well, I have had two different coaches in the last 4 years.
Mhm.
I was working with a coach through this running group that I been a part of for 5, 6 years, previous to starting to really get into Canicross, and he was great. He found another level in me that I had been missing, so
Mhm.
that's where it started. And then I realized I needed Canicross focus.
Yeah.
That was something he wasn't going to be able to offer me. And I found out about Lucky Fox coaching with Joy and Nick. And that has just been a huge game changer because one, it has helped me. It's taken what I started and then they're just taking it even further.
Mhm.
And I was doing my own strength training before. Now I'm following their strength training plan and it's much more sprint focused, which
Yeah.
is something I think I needed. And also the dog focus part of it has really been good as far as working with the team aspect. What kind of intervals should we be doing? Hill workouts. I joke around about Joy all the time about how much I love hills, and, but it's something I needed, and I knew that, but it was like one of those things. You're like, yeah, I know I should be doing that, but I'm not.
But
And
not,
then
yeah.
you're like, hey, I have this race coming up. Here's the elevation map. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Mhm.
Should we do some other speed work? No, let's give you more hills. So like they're pushing us to be our best. And it's I was getting that before as well, but I think the dog focus of it, but also and so knowing what I need to help
Mhm.
our team has been fabulous.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is the accountability and the consistency because there's so much out there. Like we almost have abundance is an issue because there's so many things that you can learn to do and so many people on the internet that can give advice and all of it's contradictory. So it's sometimes nice to focus in and have people who have put the time in to figure out what is going to work best for different types of athletes. So that's really cool. Is there anything else that you would attribute to your improvement other than obviously the accountability of coaching?
I think it's just making it a priority.
Mhm.
It's really easy to let life get in the way, especially when I travel. I love to travel all over the world, and I never let that get in the way of what I have to do.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I have a cruise coming up with my husband and his parents in Japan in October, and it's the worst
Cool.
timing
Mhm.
because it's right at the cusp of the beginning of dry land, and there's already going to be some dry land races going on. So I'm like, all right, my dog needs to be worked out while I'm gone. I have to have there's a gym on the ship. That means I'm going to be getting up at the butt crack before my in-laws, before my
Mhm.
husband to make sure I'm getting my workouts in. It's not ideal, but you have to stay focused and you can make it work if it's what you want. And I have goals and
Yeah.
the only way to meet them is to just be determined and focused. And so I think that's been a lot of it. And I think that transition from aging and feeling like this just is not going to be the way it is anymore, and then seeing no, it can be. It doesn't matter. Like it's yeah, I'm not going to run as fast as people in their 20s, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I'm still not going to be able to be competitive.
Absolutely.
So it's a drive for me. I'm always been really competitive, and I think seeing now what I can do has
Mhm.
given me the yes, I can. It's kind of like what Rachel Entrekin said after she or during Cocodona 250
Mhm.
when she's like, "Why not me?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I'm 53 years old, but why can't I also podium with all these young people?" So that's my drive.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Yeah. Why not you? I love that. All right. Well, so speaking of being competitive with the young folks, Worlds 2025, you got to compete in women's Canicross. What was the coolest part of that experience for you, other than, it fulfilling your competitive urges?
It was so awesome to know that I was running for Team USA. When I got the email, I was just like, what? I I was so shocked. And I remember sitting there staring at my computer, and my husband is just like, what? What? He didn't know. I didn't tell him. And then when I told him, I was just like, so I remember sitting at the opening ceremony, just, I am here. This is
Mhm.
crazy. And it was just, it, I couldn't wait to get out on the trail after that. I went early. I did some runs to just kind of learn the trail. We did a pre-walk on the trail, and I just kept thinking, like, I'm gonna do this. This
Yeah.
is insane. So it was so proud. I just was so proud to be a part of the team, and I just I gave it my best at the time. But I
Mhm.
know the next time, because there will be a next time,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be completely different because now I know. And I was a little green with that experience, but it it was like it I think that's kind of where I started realizing I can do this,
Mhm.
because it was shocking at first, and I didn't know any of the athletes. I didn't know anything about anybody. So now I have like, ooh, this person, I want to beat her.
Yeah, I will say that's one of the things that's been challenging, maybe not the right word for me personally, because I'm it's easier for me to be competitive if I dislike somebody. The challenge is that all of the women penny crossers are so lovely. It's almost
Yes.
impossible to dislike a single human being out on that trail. So I've had to find very different motivation to run fast. But, but yeah, really cool group.
Oh, it's been amazing. Everybody has been so nice, and people from all I talk to people from all over the world that are involved in this sport now, and I think that's the coolest thing ever. It's something I would not have gotten just with my regular competitive running.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so do you plan to apply for races in other countries? I know it's unusual for us to have had worlds here in the US in 2025, but there's worlds every 2 years everywhere.
Yes, I if my body is able, we are going to be applying for 2027 wherever it is.
Awesome. Very exciting. All right. So before we close out, since we did mention that there is life outside of dog sports, what is your favorite thing to do with your dogs that is not running?
I love bringing them out on the trail just hiking,
Hmm.
because off leash,
Yep.
because it's not something that they get to do very often. And just to see them getting to explore and stimulate that part of their brain out in nature, it's one of my favorite things to do with them. And I wish we could do it more. Being in the city is really hard. So I try to get out of town as much as I can and go up north, because northern Minnesota, if you've never been there, it's stunning. And there are thousands of miles of trails all
Yeah.
over the state. And most of them you won't see anyone for ever. So the dogs just get to run, and it's so great.
All right. Well, offline, I'm going to ask for some trail advice.
Okay.
Speaking of advice, 60 seconds, tell a brand new baby caney crosser just thinking about getting into this with their dog. What is the one thing that you wish somebody had told you or that someone did tell you that was super helpful when you were first starting out?
Spend the money on the right gear. It's a lot, and it can be overwhelming at first. So utilize your local stores, find out who in your area uh, has equipment, ask questions on Facebook, because it really does make a difference, not just for you, but for your canine pet. I was running with the traditional waist line that,
Ooh,
yeah,
Yeah.
And everyone would comment on, oh, we know whose back is gonna, hurt tomorrow or whatever. And I didn't get it because I thought that was it.
Yeah.
And I was gonna get into skijoring.
Hmm.
And then I found out about the nonstop gear is what we use.
Hmm.
And holy crap, yes, it was expensive, but now it's lasting forever and is worth it. So do that and just find a local group. Their North American Canicross Club. They have people posted all over. You can find just a local running group and just ask questions. Don't be afraid to just get out, even if you're a walker or a jogger, or you don't have to be in it for the speed or this, just to get out and do it. You
Hmm.
might find out that you're good at it and you might fall in love with it and you might just have it be a hobby and that's okay. But don't be afraid to ask questions, but definitely I would say buy the right gear.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Get the right stuff. I know I went through multiple iterations of buying the less expensive option just to ultimately spend 3 times as much when I finally got to the right gear. So yeah, get the right gear and find the right people. That's awesome. Well, Lori, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you out on the trails.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
All right. Bye.
Bye.